Have you ever witnessed a soul shatter in complete silence? Not with a scream, but with the quiet, terrifying calm of a brewing storm. It's in those silent moments that the most calculated acts of vengeance are born. We're about to show you what happens when a quiet woman is pushed past her breaking point. You won't want to miss the fallout, so make sure you subscribed and hit that notification bell to see how this story of ultimate betrayal finds its chilling conclusion. The air in the room was thick with triumph and cheap champagne. It was her graduation party, an event I had orchestrated down to the last silver accent on the pristine white tablecloths. Every detail was a monument to my love for her. I watched her, bathed in the soft golden glow, her smile a beacon I had navigated by for years. She was my daughter in every way that mattered. But blood, as they say, is a stubborn stain. She stepped onto the small dais, microphone in hand, and the room fell into a reverent hush. My heart swelled, a foolish, tender thing. Then she introduced her, not me. Not the woman who had chased away nightmares, quizzed her on multiplication tables until her own eyes burned, and held her hand in the sterile silence of a hospital room. No, she gestured to a woman standing beside my husband, a stranger with a proprietary smile. The crowd, oblivious, erupted in applause. My husband's grin was a mask of serene complicity. Before the applause could die, my stepdaughter's hand found his. "This is my dad's partner," she announced, her voice ringing with a pride that felt like a physical blow. "They've been together for years. She's always been like a mom to me, and I needed her here today." Like a mom to me. The words didn't just hang in the air, they pierced it, shattering the world I had so carefully built. But I did not cry. I did not raise my voice. I simply watched the tableau of my own erasure. People have always mistaken my quiet nature for weakness. It is a mistake they no longer make. I remember the day she came into my life, a wisp of a girl just 4 years old, with eyes that had already learned to expect disappointment from the world. Her father, the man I would marry, was a whirlwind of scattered charm and helplessness that made you want to anchor him, to fix his broken pieces. I fell for them both. I loved her instantly, fiercely. I was the one who tucked notes into her lunchbox, who celebrated every small victory, who paid for the dance lessons, the braces, the endless tutoring. Every scraped knee was kissed by my lips. Every teenage heartbreak was sobbed into my shoulder. I was the architect of her happiness, the constant in her life. I truly believed that the love I poured into her could rewrite the narrative of our little cobbled-together family. The first cracks in my reality were subtle. Conversations that would cease the moment I entered the room. The synchronized flipping of phones face down. A shared glance between father and daughter that held a universe of secrets. I chided myself for the paranoia, clinging to the belief that I had raised her with more integrity. I was a fool. The truth came, as it often does, in a careless whisper from a room away. "Don't worry, Dad," she heard me say, her voice a conspiratory murmur. "She'll never find out." Find out what? In that moment, my hands did not tremble. My heart did not race. It simply stopped. And in the stillness, I listened as the rest of their conversation laid the affair bare. 3 years, a trinity of deceit, with my husband and the daughter I raised as its loyal disciples. They were a team, seamlessly covering for one another, not a single crack in their performance. It wasn't the infidelity that broke me. It was her complicity. It was the chilling realization that she had known for years and had actively chosen to protect the man who was betraying me. She had chosen the woman who now stood beaming at her graduation party. The love I had nurtured for her didn't die in a fiery explosion. It simply turned to ice. And so, while they toasted their new perfect family, I began to meticulously plan a funeral. My husband had always been allergic to paperwork. "You're just better with the numbers," he'd say, handing me another stack of documents. He had no idea how right he was. I became an archaeologist of my own life, unearthing every financial statement, every property deed, every damning transaction. I traced the digital breadcrumbs of their affair, the hotel bookings, the lavish gifts, and assembled a timeline so precise, so irrefutable, it could have been a prosecutor's closing argument. But I had no interest in a public spectacle. A courtroom allows for performance, for the casting of blame and the feigning of victimhood. My methods would be quieter, more profound. In their world, money was oxygen. I was simply going to cut off the supply. I started with the joint accounts, draining them with a series of clean, untraceable transfers. Next was the business account, funded by a significant portion of my own inheritance. Finally, the investment portfolio, where my majority stake gave me absolute control. Then came the house. He'd forgotten, in his comfortable arrogance, whose name was solely on the deed. He assumed our shared life meant shared ownership. Assumptions are the foundations of ruin. 3 weeks after the party, they sat me down in the living room, my living room. My stepdaughter wore an expression of profound annoyance, as if this conversation were a tedious chore. My husband cleared his throat, the sound unnaturally loud in the tense silence. "We've been talking," he began, "and we think it's time you moved on. We're building a new life, a real family. I'm sure you understand." A real family. The words were a spark in a room filled with gasoline. But I did not cry. I did not raise my voice. I simply reached into my bag, retrieved a thick manila folder, and placed it on the coffee table between us. Inside was everything. Bank statements with zeroed-out balances, copies of the transfer records, the deed to the house with my name and only my name clearly visible. I watched the color drain from his face, the smug confidence replaced by a dawning slack-jawed horror. I saw her bravado finally crack, crumbling into dust. What did you do?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. I leaned back, the leather of the armchair sighing softly. The silence that followed was the most satisfying sound I had ever heard. "The move-out date is for you," I said, my voice level and calm. "Both of you. The car in the driveway is registered to me. The savings are gone. The house is mine." I turned my gaze to her, the girl I had loved like my own, and saw nothing but a stranger. "You have 30 days to find a new place to live." The tears finally came then. Not tears of remorse, but of pure, unadulterated fear. "But where am I supposed to go?" she wailed. I looked at her, truly looked at her for the last time, not with the warmth of love, but with the cold, hard clarity of truth. "Go to the woman you replaced me with," I said. "She can raise you now." The house is quiet these days, peaceful. There are no hushed whispers behind closed doors, no hurried footsteps. There is only the steady, rhythmic sound of my own breathing. I am alive. People think revenge is a raging fire, all chaos and destruction. They're wrong. True revenge is a surgeon's scalpel. It's precision. It's patience. It's knowing exactly where to cut so the wound can never truly heal. They taught me how to stop loving them. I simply returned the lesson. I didn't lose a family. I surgically removed a tumor that was already dead. So we have to ask, was this a calculated act of karmic justice? Or was it simply cold, hard revenge? Where do you draw the line? Let us know your verdict in the comments below. If this story of a woman taking back her power resonated with you, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of betrayal and the justice that follows.